Good afternoon, everyone. How many of you find it fascinating to uncover the deeper connections between acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine? Please type yes in the chat if you're excited to explore the classical foundations of these modalities and how they can enhance your clinical practice. My name is Myra Chen, and I'm your host and moderator for today's eLotus webinar. Here at eLotus, we have been hosting educational courses for over 3 decades, and we are so proud to be your trusted source for premium CEU content, featuring over 200 speakers, 700 courses, and 3,000 hours of CE. We really appreciate you all for joining. My honor to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Ying Wang. Dr. Wang is a dynamic figure in traditional Chinese medicine, serving as a doctor of TCM, an attending physician, and a lecturer on research topics such as theoretical basics of traditional Chinese medicine and health preservation. She holds prestigious positions including Deputy Secretary General of the Liaoning Provincial Health and Rehabilitation Society and memberships in various TCM organizations in China. Dr. Wang is also the World-China Joint Medicine Diet Therapy Research Director and an esteemed member of the Chinese Acupuncture and Moxibustion Society. Her research is at the intersection of tradition and innovation. Her dedication to advancing TCM knowledge and practice is evident in her multifaceted contributions to the field. Dr. Wang has also previously taught an insightful course on baby Tuina and will return later this year to teach an exciting class on clavicle and eye microsystems acupuncture. I'll put the link in the chat to all of her courses so you can explore them further. Today's webinar is Uncovering the Ancient Text of Classical Paired Acupoints and Herbal Formulas, sponsored by Evergreen Herbs. Dr. Wang will guide us through a comprehensive exploration of the principles and interconnections between acupuncture and herbal medicine. You will learn how to analyze classical texts, apply the 8 principles for syndrome differentiation, and integrate paired herbs and acupuncture points to treat common diseases across various body systems. You will gain the practical tools to deepen your systematic thinking in TCM and enhance your clinical outcomes. And before we begin, a few housekeeping items. Please set your chat to everyone to ensure your comments are visible to the whole group. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A box during the presentation. And remember, the CEU quiz will be available by the next business day late afternoon for those who meet the participation requirements. Now, let's begin today's class, and please give a warm welcome to Dr. Ying Wang.
Thank you, Mary Chen. Thanks for your introduction of me. And now I would like to share my PowerPoint. So is it okay for everyone to see my PowerPoint?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wang.
Okay, so happy Valentine's Day today. If you choose to attend a webinar of traditional Chinese medicine on this Valentine's Day, if you already have a Valentine, and I know you will absolutely become a very great TCM doctor because you are paying so much attention about TCM. And if you don't have a Valentine, I have to say that TCM is your Valentine forever. And today I'm going to give a lecture about uncovering the ancient text of classical paired acupuncture and herbal formulas. And this topic actually was brought about after the last seminar on Lotus in the July 2024. And after my last webinar of baby Tuina finished successfully, and Tina Chen and Mary Chen asked me what else that I was good at, that I can have another webinar to share my experience of my clinical experience on this webinar again. And I just checked my own knowledge system. I guess everyone has ever encountered this problem, especially when you started learning Chinese medicine. It's hard for you to remember all the names of the herbals or the names of the acupoints, right? And I know that most of the foreign students who study the acupuncture, they don't remember the Chinese names of the acupoints, but they use the number instead. And it's actually very unfortunate condition for the spread of Chinese medicine, as we need to know that the names are spoken or written in Chinese characters that can help you to understand the meaning more completely. But for the Chinese students, I also teach them in our university. They still have the problem of remembering the Chinese names of the acupoints. So I wonder why this always happens. So we go back to the first class in our University of TCM. It's about the theory. And usually the students could not get a very high mark in this subject in the final exam. I understand because most of the students in China who study Chinese medicine, they don't have a very comprehensive learning of traditional Chinese culture because they study the science when they were in the junior school or senior school. So it's very difficult for them to set up the mindset of the philosophy of TCM. So it's really important to understand the basic theory from the culture and also set up the mindset of TCM learning strategy. And here, today, what I'm going to introduce is actually a guideline for you to have a reflection on the knowledge that you learned before, to connect them into a net that would be something easier for you to apply in the clinical case to give you a better understanding of how the herbals and the acupoints actually share the similar theory. So let's look at the topic on this PowerPoint again. Uncovering the ancient text of classical paired acupoints and herbal formulas. Could you tell me which is the key word in this sentence? I guess it is the paired, right? In TCM, there are a lot of paired definition. For example, the very first foundation theory of TCM is the yin and yang. And if you know how to write it in Chinese, the yin and the yang is actually consists of the moon and the sun. It's because we live in a nature that has the moon and the sun circulating in the space and to let us feel the daytime and the night, right? And this is actually the origin or the root of everything. And of course, no matter what kind of method in TCM you apply in your clinical experience, you can always find the track of yin and yang theory. So we need to give this emphasis of always discovering the yin and yang in everything, no matter what you learn in TCM, right? So the herbals actually can help you to understand what is yin and yang by your own senses. When we study the herbals in China in our university, when the students taking the class of herbals, they have the experience of tasting the herbal in person. So you see, we need to let ourselves become part of the nature by feeling it with our senses, right? And also the acupoint is also part of the main subjects of the TCM students, that when they study the acupoints, they also need to feel the acupoint by their hands. And by touching between the patient and the doctors, this is also actually a pair of roles, right? So whenever you want to cure a patient, you actually are exchanging your own healthy energy to help the patient with their disease. And let's go on to the next PowerPoint. See, here is the self-introduction. I think that Mara has already introduced a very completely of my experience of learning TCM and practicing TCM. But here I want to tell you that I'm not only a doctor of TCM in the clinical hospital, but also I teach the theoretical basis of traditional Chinese medicine and health preservation. And it's also after when I teach this kind of courses, I suddenly understand that it's more important to know the logic of TCM by understanding the human being's body, how it functions in the right way. And also it's important to let the patients in my clinic know what causes their problem related to their habits of diets and their emotional health condition, and also the sports they take. And it's actually very important for them to know how to get better with their own effort, right? And so here, let's go on to this famous Sun Simiao, this scholar that I always tell my students to read his literature. And also there is a very big picture of his works in the building of our university on the first floor. It's on the wall, the 大一京城 and the 大一习业. We always treat Sun Simiao as representative of a great doctor. And from his words about how to be a great doctor, he once said, if one only uses acupuncture but not moxibustion, or only moxibustion but not acupuncture, they are not a good doctor. If one only uses acupuncture and moxibustion but no herbals, or only herbals but no acupuncture and moxibustion, they are even less a good doctor. So you see here, what Sun Simiao want to emphasize is that a good doctor should know how to combine these different methods of treatment in dealing with the patient's problem. Besides this, is the basis, which is the basis, is to know the method, how this method actually works. Like, how do you know the patient should take the method of acupuncture and when change to another method like moxibustion or herbals? It's always depend on your knowledge strategy. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. I asked the AI, what do you think is the relationship between the herbals and the acupoints? The AI give me the answer. You can read from here. Paired acupoints and paired herbals are both important concepts in traditional Chinese medicine. Paired acupoints are 2 points on the body that are used together in acupuncture to treat certain conditions. They are believed to have a synergistic effect, meaning that they work better together than they would alone. Correct? Absolutely. Usually 1 plus 1 is bigger than 2, right? And also paired herbals, on the other hand, are 2 herbals that are used together in Chinese herbal medicine. They are also believed to have a synergistic effect and are often used to enhance the effectiveness of the treatment. So the AI emphasizes on the effect of the 2 different systems of TCM therapy methods, how they can reach a better result by cooperative way. But what I want to talk about today is not about the simple conclusion that 1 plus 1 is bigger than 2. I want you to see the similarities between methods. They look like belong to different theories. That some Chinese medicine practitioners argued that they have different theories. The meridian and the acupoints, when we practice acupuncture, we need to feel the acupoint on the skin and to select or to choose the acupoints by meridian syndrome differentiation. But they might forget that the meridian is actually connected with the organs. And the herbals, how we prescribe it, we usually based on the organs, or you call it 脏腑 syndrome differentiation, right? So let's go back to the Lingshu meridians. It's from the Emperor Internal Classics. And Lingshu, if you translate it into the spirit pivot, in the meridians chapter, states that if there is excess, drain it. If there is deficiency, tonify it. If there is heat, treat it quickly. If there is cold, treat it slowly. It can help to increase the yang. If there is depression, moxibustion should be used. If there is neither excess nor deficiency, treat according to the meridians. And also in another chapter, the 9 needles and 12 sources states, if there is stasis, remove it. These are the basic principles of acupuncture treatment, right? And from these texts, it can be seen that the treatment methods not only depend on the conditions of deficiency, excess, cold, and heat, but also when encountering mixed conditions of deficiency and excess, one can seek the cause by meridians. So we really need to learn acupuncture well by understanding how the meridian works, where it goes, passes through. Moreover, the attributes and mutual relationships of meridians are different in terms of yin and yang, and exterior and interior. Therefore, although the basic treatment methods of acupuncture and herbal medicine are different, they are both established under what? the guidance of the 8 principles. So this further demonstrates the close relationship between acupuncture and herbal medicine in the application of syndrome differentiation and treatment. So here, you understand, no matter what kind of method in TCM, you always need to pay attention to the connection among them. It can help you to have more science of understanding why the patient has this kind of symptom and the cause of it, and how to expel this cause and stop this from getting worse. And why I would also introduce some ancient lines in the ancient literature. We emphasize historical records not because we reject innovation and development, but because Chinese medicine has a long and unique tradition. It is important to first establish what the tradition actually is. This allows us to innovate with care and respect. So you might already understand my point that TCM may seem overwhelming at first with all those herbs, formulas, and acupuncture points to remember. But as I said, once we understand the principles and guidelines behind it, it becomes much easier to make sense of it all. So now let's begin to enter this guidelines introduction. Look at this PowerPoint. We enter the first system. It is called the exterior relieving acupoints, and in every part, I actually will select the commonly used paired and paired herbals encountered this kind of problem. So below, the Herbal acupoint. And the Fuliu into yang and yin. Who should be related to yang? We can tell it from the location that if you watch a human being standing on the ground, so which part is higher, the hand or the foot? Of course, it's the hand. And we learn it that the upper part, the more bright part, and the moving part, always related to yang. So here, the Hegu located on the hand and belongs to the hand, Yang Ming, large intestine meridian. Yang Ming already tells you the answer that yang means the same meaning of yang here. And Fuliu located on the foot, Shaoyin kidney meridian. And the yin tells you that it belongs to the yin part, right? So from this pair, I already tell you a sign, a method, a principle to know that some of the acupoints, the paired acupoints, they located on different meridians that are actually complementary to each other. By their names, you can tell there is yang character in the meridian and yin character in the meridian, right? And the next, so the Hegu, when do we apply it in clinical cases? It's really commonly used. If you read Chinese essays of TCM. The Herbal acupoint, if you type this keyword, Herbal acupoint, in the database, and you can find thousands of essays about this acupoint. It can cure lots of diseases, and mostly is for the diseases on the face, like the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the ears. How do we call them in one word? In Chinese medicine, it is called the qiao, or you translated it into door. The qiao is like the door. When you open the door, it actually has two sides of qi movements, right? You can let the qi enter into the body. You can also let the pathogen going out of the body. And the other acupoint here, 复溜, I always ask my students to pay attention to the name of the acupoint. We see this 复溜. 复 means again, repeat. And the liu here has these 3 dots on the side. Usually you see these 3 dots. It means the character is related to water. So here, water, this sign gives you about the yin factor. So the yang and yin, the qi and the fluid, or the water inside a human being's body. Why these two become a pair? We come back to some of the ancient culture that Lao Tzu has the most favorite element in the 5 elements. Which one? It's the water. And also, if we want to find another planet to live on, the Elon Musk is actually working on this, right? And as our human beings, if you want to live on a planet, the most important energy you want to find on this planet, you call it the qi. What forms the qi? It's actually from the change from the solid to the fluid and to the gas. And which element can have this different appearances, different ways of energy can be manifested with one element, is the water, right? So if you know how to control the water from solid to fluid and to gas, you are actually generating energy and circulating energy in the space. And also in the human being's body, we should have the similar mindset in TCM. We are controlling the movement of this energy. We call it qi. And in TCM, there are different methods of controlling the qi. And especially in acupuncture, we insert the needle into some acupoints combined with each other to formulate the qi. And here, the Herbal is actually for stimulating the yang energy in the body. And the Fuliu, we already said, the 3 dots stroke in this Chinese character means the water. So here, the yang works on the yin. When you practice acupuncture on this acupoint Herbal, and flu. It's actually letting the yang works on the yin to generate what? The sweat. And here we tell the basic theory of curing the exterior pathogen disease. We want to expel the exterior pathogen by using the qi. And how do we generate the qi? We should focus on the yin and the yang on the human being's body skin. Find out this pair of acupoints, 合谷 and flu. So we also have this kind of ma huang and gui zhi. I already typed the answer. They're related to the yin and yang here. Though they appeared in different Chinese characters, the wei and the yang. The wei means the wei qi and the yang means the yang xue. Wei here means the defensive. So if you have to classify wei and yang into the category of yang and yin, the wei related to the yang, the yang xue, yang blood, related to the yin. And how do you know this? Usually the students ask me the question, why? Just to go back to the ancient text. First, we introduced the acupoints, 合谷 and flu. How they were written in the ancient text. In this 兰江赋, 吴汉更将合谷补，复溜学泻好施针。倘若汗多流不绝，合谷收补效如神。And in another great literature of acupuncture in ancient time, 针灸大成，少汗先补合谷，次泻伏溜；多汗先泻合谷，次补伏溜。And also in 玉龙歌，无汗伤寒，泻伏溜；汗多宜将，合谷收。So I already give you method of learning Chinese characters. Have you seen the Chinese character of sweat here? It actually consists of two parts. The three dots on the left means it's related to water, right? And the other part on the right, 干 means dry, right? Dry. Dry is related to yang, and three dots, water related to yin. So if you understand the meaning of this character from the appearance, you know that the ancient scholars are very wise, very smart to understand how the han is formed in human being's body. It is controlled by two kinds of energy, yin and yang, right? So in conclusion, all those lines in the ancient literature when curing the disease of sweat, they would apply the 合谷 and the flu. So no sweat or fluid, reinforcing or tonifying 合谷 and reducing flu. And too much sweat or fluid, reducing 合谷 and reinforcing flu. How to understand this?